Hey, what's up everybody? David Burns, EAS Certified Master Beekeeper, out on a very cold morning. A little bit of snow, and boy am I glad I wrapped my hives up. We've got some blistering cold weather here lately. And today Sherry and I are gonna grab our cameras, go inside where it's warm, talk about bees, and we're gonna have some coffee time. Come join us.
It's cold out there, isn't it?
It is cold.
Wow.
Good to be in here where it's warm.
Yeah.
Hey Sherry, good to be with you.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us again.
You're welcome.
You look nice. I like your hair like that.
Thank you.
Good.
Thank you.
Yeah. I wish I could just throw my hair back. Oh, I guess I do. Just kind of like boom. There it is.
There it is.
Hey everybody, David and Sherry Burns with you today with another beekeeping video. Thanks for joining us again. Good to be with you. We got a lot of good things to talk about today. You're going to have a fun time with us. We're going to share some YouTube comments, answer some questions. We're going to talk a little bit about mites. I know some of you are worried about your bees in the winter, wrapping bees. And we just got a lot of good times planned. We've got some coffee time planned as well.
Good.
And
Good.
Sherry, we kind of match. Red and black's the theme today.
We do. Look like a lumberjack.
Well, it's a good season for that, right?
It is. It is.
Why don't we start off with answering a couple of questions from YouTube comments?
We always have plenty of questions.
Yeah.
We get questions
Good.
all the time. So here is one, and I think a lot of your people want to know it. It's from somebody named Todd.
Okay.
He says he's in his third year of beekeeping, and he is looking about information as far as overwintering. You know, everybody has such a terrible time overwintering their bees and getting them through the winter. And he lives in Minnesota. And he is wanting to know your thoughts on bringing hives indoors in the wintertime.
Indoors.
So he said he's been researching it, and he understands that the building needs to be kept around 40 degrees and very dark. So that's a question for you. He says sometimes it's 30 degrees, and then the next day it'll be 50 degrees. He wraps his hives, he puts windbreaks up, he does all the things, you know, that you've talked about, enough food, treated for mites, but it can't get him to get through the winter.
Ooh, can't get him to get through the winter.
Yeah, so what do you think?
Now, what did you say about mites? Is he treating for mites?
He said he treats for mites if he needs to.
If he needs to, yeah. I don't know, I wonder, some people just don't understand the dangers of mites. Oh, by the way, I have a mite. Look at that.
Oh, wow.
It's the wrong color.
But why is it this size? I don't understand.
Well, just so people could see it. I made it bigger. It's a 3D printed version of a real mite.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah,
is it
right.
really?
It is.
But
Bottom and top.
how,
It needs to be painted brown. This is white, but that would be about the size it would be on a bee.
oh, so if you were a bee,
If I was a honeybee.
the mite would look that
it'd be
big
walking
on
around.
you.
Yeah, it would be
wow, that thing is huge.
be biting my
That's
neck.
huge.
Look at that.
Oh my
I know,
gosh.
it's like I'd be talking to you right now with a mite on my head like this.
Do bees have one mite, or can they have many mites?
I have several pictures that I have on different videos I've made, and bees can have 4, 5, 6 mites on them.
That's horrible.
It's terrible. And these little things here is what they use to puncture in
Oh.
between the heavy platelets on a bee and start sucking out from the fat bodies. Yeah.
Wow.
And so these get dirty with viruses, and it's just a dirty needle everywhere they puncture a bee.
And so what makes wintertime worse for those?
For mites, well, the hive is clustered, so the mites actually overwinter with the bees. And they just sit there and continue. The interesting thing about that is, in the summertime, they're making a lot of bees. They're reproducing. Bees are dying every 30 days, and so they're making new bees. But in the wintertime, you only have 40, 60,000
I
bees.
see, and they're not.
They're
and they live a lot longer.
They live
in the
longer,
wintertime.
and so they have more
wow.
exposure to being bit more often by the mites, and then they're not being replaced as often. So those 40,000 bees are getting worked over by these mites more than in the summertime.
So are you saying that that's mainly the reason why they die in the wintertime?
It is.
It maybe doesn't have anything to do with insulation or heat or cold?
Absolutely.
Wow.
All day long. Some bees are out, I forget what they're called, they're outside bees, but they form kind of recklessly. They'll swarm, and they'll make a swarm on a tree, and they will never leave to go inside a tree or a house or a building. They kind of get stuck on outside of a tree, and they'll start building comb out there.
Yeah.
Some of those bees have survived the winter.
Oh, I see what you're
Exposed
saying.
to the elements.
Exposed.
So,
Oh, I do remember there was an experiment that one time where
They have
somebody
done
put them
experiments.
into freezers or refrigerators or
there's
something,
been
didn't
experiments
they?
where they put them in screen boxes made of not wood but of screen wire,
Okay.
to see if they would overwinter,
And
and
they,
did.
and they leave them outside.
Yeah, so bees stay warm by clustering together, but if they're clustered
Right.
together real tightly and mites are biting all of us, spreading
Oh.
these viruses, we all know what a virus does to you, so these bees can't survive that. Now, I'm not sure if that's what Todd's problem is,
Right.
but
We don't know. We can't see.
yeah, the first thing I always ask people is, tell me your mite levels every month. Let's go back. What were your mite levels in May, June, July, August, and let's trace them. And a lot of people say, oh, I don't know. I don't keep track that closely. I treat it once in the winter, once in the fall.
Well, you need some sort of way to track all that.
Yeah, so like if you have them, if your hives have mites all in them and you treat once in the, let's say, spring, and then you don't treat again until the fall, well, what happens is about 60 days later after your first treatment in the spring, your mite levels are back up before treatment pressure.
Okay.
So all these mites are coming in on the backs of bees, because when one bee travels to a flower with a mite on it, the mite jumps off from maybe your colony. My hive has bees going to the same flower, the mite jumps on that bee, flies back to my hive. Drones will pick up a lot of mites, and when they go back into hives, these mites reproduce very effectively in the cap brood cells. And so these mites are just the problem that really kill bees in the wintertime. These mites are.
That's too bad. Well, what do you think about his ideal of keeping hives inside a building?
There are people up north and further north, like Canada, Alaska, they keep bees in buildings.
Do
and
they really?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Big commercial operations. And so they have to
I
have.
didn't know that.
Yeah, they have to have big warehouses.
Wow.
It's very expensive. It is so expensive to keep a large building like where I live in Illinois. Like this week, it's going to get 46 degrees one day in the future. It takes a lot of air conditioning or refrigerant to keep a room 46 or actually 35 to 39 degrees. I wouldn't want to invest that much money to get my bees to survive the winter by keeping a room really cold like that. So you would think wintertime rooms are always cold, but you have to regulate it. You have to keep it that temperature. You can't let it fluctuate. That room cannot get to 50.
Why?
And well, the bees will get restless. They want
Okay.
to fly out, and they'll
Okay.
eat all their food stores. You got to
Right.
keep them less
The
than 40.
warmer they get, the more honey they
Yes,
eat.
you got to keep that room 40 degrees and not let it go up or down. That is the best effective. Totally dark or by red light. So unless he's got a lot of hive or a lot of money he just wants to blow, then you could build a building and put refrigerant. It's just like a big walk-in refrigerator is what you need. You know,
Okay.
refrigerator temperature is pretty good, 33, 35 degrees.
Okay.
But it would cost so much money
All right.
to keep a room-sized refrigerator going with electricity. It'd be outrageous. So
Yeah.
I can't see it being profitable or worth it at all.
Okay, well, here's another question that somebody has, kind of goes along with that same thing. So Dennis says he's seen some people who leave a lower entrance open and close off the top, but he wants to know what your thoughts are. Is it better to have the lower entrance open in the wintertime or the upper entrance open in the wintertime? Because he was wondering if the upper entrance is the one that you keep open, how do they take out the dead bees and that sort of thing?
I have seen them take dead bees out of that upper entrance. So they can do it, but I kind of agree that it wouldn't be as easy as just cleaning out the bottom board by dragging out the dead sisters. But usually in the wintertime, they don't do a lot of that usually. I mean, I've come out of a lot of winters and I've had to clean that bottom board. It's been totally plugged before. And so the theory that we talk about a lot is, and one that I hold to, is that as the bees go through winter, a lot of those bees that are dying of natural aged out bees, they fall to the bottom board. And whether it's screen or solid, they don't ever really get cleaned out until it kind of warms up and bees are flying
Right.
a little better.
Right.
But so most of the winter, the bees are clustered up higher. And so if they're already clustered up higher by the winter bee kind opening, they're more apt to take cleansing flights up here than walk all the way down over their dead sisters and try to fly out. Plus, you don't want to keep that bottom entrance open largely because mice are still looking for a place to overwinter.
Right.
So if you leave it open too much, you're going to get filled up with mice again. So I prefer that upper entrance. I've always blocked off the bottom. Just block it off. I'd say 80% of my hives are blocked off on the bottom. Like I recently just wrapped those outdoors, and I just covered at the bottom entrance. They're all using the top entrance. Yeah. If it warms up really nice, 60 degrees for a couple of days, I'll take my wraps off out there, and then I'll open up my bottoms and let them fly if they want to. Put them back in.
Right.
It's kind of tough. Sherry, a couple of people made a comment about your glass that you use. They were like, wow, that glass is beautiful. Where'd she get that?
Oh, isn't that nice?
It is.
My son gave me this for Christmas one
Oh, really?
year.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
Which son?
Yeah, the oldest one.
David? Yeah.
Yeah, now my
Nice.
favorite.
All right. We'll cut that part out.
The
right?
rest of them know now what to do to
Oh,
get
they don't watch
to
our
become-
videos. So we're okay. We can say what we want to about our children. They'll never watch our
Exactly.
videos.
But yeah, I've always loved this. It is so nice.
It's beautiful.
But David, guess what?
What's that?
I have one to give away.
No.
I do.
You're gonna give away?
I do. I have one to give away right here to somebody.
Is that the box that came?
It
oh my
is. This is a
gosh.
box that it comes in,
Are you kidding?
and it's got this really great little spoon
Let me
here.
see the
so,
spoon.
so somebody's going to win
Whoa.
this, and then they can have coffee with us.
Oh my
at home.
gosh.
Isn't that neat?
We got to figure out some way to.
Oh, yeah. What
Wait a
are we
minute, I got
gonna
to figure out
do?
if this is a promoted ad or not, or a promoted
It's
video.
not.
You bought that?
I bought
Okay,
this
very
to
good.
give to somebody.
Don't want to get in trouble with YouTube, so if you paid for it, I can give it away without
I
saying this is
did,
a paid.
but how are they going to win it? What should we do?
I don't know. You sprung that on me. Darn. Oh,
Isn't that
see.
nice?
That is it just like
Maybe.
yours? Same. Oh yeah, that is outstanding.
Oh, see,
That-
and then we can have coffee together.
I love that. Wow, look at
Yeah.
that satin. Wow, that's insane.
You really like that, don't you?
You gonna be able to ship it without it
I
getting
don't
broken?
know. I don't know. I think we can.
Gotta figure out
I
some
think
way
we
to give it
can.
away
So
now.
I think maybe if they left a comment about what they prefer, coffee or tea,
Oh,
then we'll pick somebody from that
okay.
group. So you have to have the word coffee or the word tea
Okay, good.
in your comment.
That's right.
And then next time I come on board, which I don't know when that will be, we'll give that coffee cup away.
And they need to be a subscriber.
Well, of course.
And you have
Why
to-
aren't you a subscriber if you're not?
Exactly. And they have to live within the 48 lower states because
Oh.
it's hard. Can you ship that to?
No, you're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
It'd be broken in 1,000
Yeah.
pieces.
Oh, it'd
so-
be broken in a million pieces.
Yeah, so we'll ship it within the
Yeah.
48 lower. Why do we call it the 48 lower states?
Well, because
there's
Alaska's higher, is upper. We have one upper state.
What about Hawaii? Is it?
It's way
Yeah.
over there.
Okay, so there you can win that beautiful glass. And Sherry said if you leave a comment with either tea or coffee and tell us maybe what tea you like, Earl Grey, what kind of coffee you drink, and then leave a comment down below. There you go. Great.
Yeah.
I'm glad you brought
Cool.
that. Hey, back to mites, Sherry.
Oh,
This thing is so ugly, isn't it? I mean, it really is. Well, when I started beekeeping, mites had just kind of worked their way into our country.
looks like a crab.
And they're much smaller, of course, than this. Some people were going, I had no idea they were that big. But they're so small, they're hard to see with your eyes. Do you know, Sherry, time after time again, beekeepers will write me or call me and they'll talk about, I'll say, what are you doing for your mites? And they're thinking I'm talking about small hive beetle.
Oh, yeah.
And they say I'm using
yeah.
oil traps for my mites.
Yeah.
Well, you don't oil trap these. They're tiny, they're hard to see, they don't care about oil. But so a lot of beekeepers do not understand mites at all. They refuse. A lot of beekeepers are just saying, no, I don't think we have mites where I live. But all bees have mites.
Oh, yeah.
It's a #1 killer of your
Mites
bees.
are everywhere.
So if you took a class or you're going to take a class other than with us, then I want you to really raise your hand if they never mention mites and say, excuse me, can we talk about mites? What are they? How do I treat for them? Because I heard they're the #1 killer of beehives. So you face it, if they don't talk about mites in your class very extensively, you've kind of wasted your money.
Yeah,
It's-
but it's also kind of a big subject. Sometimes
It's such a big subject.
Sometimes teachers don't have time to get into it.
Yeah.
And yet that's the one thing that if you
Yes.
screw up,
Yeah.
It's going to be detrimental.
That's like in our basic online course, I talk briefly about mites, but I have a whole class online dedicated for mite control because it is a huge subject. And
It
there's
is.
a lot of different ways, a lot of different practices. Some people are natural beekeepers. They don't want to use any chemicals. And we kind of like that too. That's why we use green drone comb, powdered sugar
We do.
treatment, breaking the queen's brood cycle to reduce mites and all. We have some good
Integrated pest management techniques.
But IPM, integrated pest management, also includes chemicals when you need to go that way.
And yeah,
Yeah,
we don't do that unless it gets
yeah.
serious.
Unless you can't control.
I don't think I haven't seen it serious in years, though.
Well, we have to watch them I like to look at my hives about every 2 weeks, and then every other 2 week, which is once a month, I do a mite test and see where they're at. And then, but if you stay after mites on a weekly basis, like green drone comb and powdered sugar, screen bottom board, and breaking the queen's brood cycle, you can keep these from getting bad and
Right.
keep the levels low.
Right.
So it's not the mites that are the worst thing for bees, but it's the viruses that they vector. That's the worst thing. So that's going to kill our bees in the winter, these guys right here, spreading viruses. Oh, and you know what? While we're talking about that, talking about classes, you've taken a lot of classes, like
I have.
cooking classes?
Cooking classes and baking classes and chocolate making classes. Those are my favorites.
Are you a chocolatier?
I am. I'm
Wow.
a professional chocolatier.
Are you really?
I am.
How come I don't have more chocolate candy sitting around?
Because we're trying to lose some weight.
I'm not trying to lose weight.
No, I mean, we are trying to lose some weight.
No? A little bit I am. I don't want to gain any more, let's put it that way. It's, when you get older, you can pack it on.
That's right.
So chocolate has got a lot of sugar in it, but it's good, isn't it?
Yeah, oh, it's
So
wonderful.
tell me about cooking classes. You're a really good cook. Why would you take a cooking class?
Well,
If you already know how to do
I
it.
know how to do it.
There's
but
videos you
But
could
the
watch.
fact is, there's so many things I can still learn. Different utensils and different ways of doing things, and I tend to do really good on certain things, and I need to branch out, and I need to learn about other things in cooking as well.
Yeah.
So like chocolatiering, for instance, was something I didn't know how to do that. I knew how to go to the store and buy
Yeah, that's hard to
a
do.
chocolate bar, but I
Yeah.
never knew how to do it.
Yeah, I remember you you went to California or somewhere, didn't you, to take that course? You did?
I did.
Yeah.
I did part of it. You're right. And
And that's
they
far
have
for
conferences.
us. We live in
and-
Illinois, so some of you are like, I live in California. What do you mean?
That chocolate better be good.
Yeah, right.
Going to California.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I remember you having a challenge of making it shiny or not shiny, and with chocolate, it's really tricky.
Yeah.
isn't it?
It's very, very tricky, but you don't know that if you mainly just make, regular type dinners and that sort of stuff. You don't know those special things.
Techniques and all.
Yeah.
And beekeeping is that way, isn't it?
Is it?
It is.
Okay.
If you don't take a class, I know this is going to sound terrible. I'm going to have to say it and then start explaining it. But unless you take a class with either a master beekeeper or a very, very experienced beekeeper, then you're probably not going to get the things that Sherry are talking about. The little management practices that really can push you over the edge of really being successful. I mean, you can take these 35-minute classes that may be offered by a garden center.
Yeah, there's a lot of those.
Yeah.
Those little other little seminars or just little workshops.
Yeah.
And those aren't bee classes. It might be nice to see if you're interested in it or not, but they're not going to tell you how to do it.
Yeah, you got to really put some time in. So if you don't put the time into taking a real thorough beekeeping course, you're going to cry. You're going to either cry this next spring, this summer, or next winter. You're going to cry. You're not going to be able to do it. If you do succeed without taking a class, you can do your own research. You might be that person, but you're not going to let a surgeon operate on you that has never taken a class. Or,
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, an airplane pilot that hasn't been trained. I mean, your lawyer, your doctor, your dentist. I mean, these things.
Not take
it's
advice,
like, well, bees a
yeah.
hobby, David. Why do I need to be so educated just to be a hobbyist like that? Well, I think it's fun. If you have a hobby and you take it to the next level where you want to learn more,
Sure.
it makes the hobby more enjoyable.
Sure. But for me, when we talked about this last time, I don't like to spend money I don't like to spend money.
Yeah.
You know, and if we're going to get into something, I want to make sure we know how to do it so I can not be spending my money throwing money at problems.
Yeah, that's
you
right.
know,
That's
or,
a good point.
Or buying new bees every
Yeah.
single year.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. So, like you're
you know,
saying,
it's
I like this. Yeah, because you're saying like, let's say our basic online course is $59. So if you don't want to take a class, you're saving $59, right?
You're saving $59.
But you're not managing your bees, and these guys are going to kill them, and you're going to think, I just wasted $145 on a package and a couple $300 on all my equipment,
Yeah, and they're gone.
and I'm not a beekeeper.
And they're gone. Yeah.
So that $59 investment is really good, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And you know,
Definitely.
when they take our classes, look at this. They get a certificate.
Ooh, fancy.
We actually have a teacher that actually grades all of it. Like if you take one of our courses and send them back through mail, we have a teacher that sits down and actually, I've written out all the answers, what I want you to say. And if they answer correctly, then they get a certificate of completion. And these aren't just something to hang on your wall, although that's cool. I love certificates. I've got a bunch.
He does.
I do. I've told you about my ego.
He loves certificates.
I love trophies and certificates.
And trophies, that's
and I've got a
right.
ton of them.
That's right.
Because I've been trained in other areas to teach people things other than beekeeping.
Yeah.
And I like that. And you have been too. And so if they want this, some of these people that take these courses are doing it because some municipalities require you to have this.
Exactly, yeah. They need to know that you've taken a beekeeping course.
Yes.
And if you call up your village board or your city board, they will tell you that information. And our classes comply with all those rules since you are a certified master beekeeper. And so those
Yep.
certificates, you can take them down there and show that you have taken a beekeeping course. And then you're good to go.
And it's bragging rights. That's what I like. I got a certificate. You know, I know what I'm doing here. This doesn't mean you know everything, but it
No,
means that
it
you
means
have a
that
good
you
handle.
went through the course
Yeah.
and you understand it. And our teacher will make comments. If you're way off
Yeah.
there, you
Right.
know, the comments will be, you know, what it should have said or what you need to do to learn that information a little bit more.
Yeah.
And so we tell you that when we send that back to you. But, you know, now's the time to do it. I mean, this is
Absolutely.
before the spring. You need to know what you're doing before
Yeah.
you get your bees. Like when you bring a baby home, you kind of need to know what you're doing beforehand.
Yeah.
But boy, it's so cold. There's nothing else to do around here. What a great time to take it. In our classes, people don't always understand that because this is not true for some others, that you always get the links. They're good forever. You can go back and rewind it and listen to it again and rewind it. If you still don't get it, you email us.
Yeah.
We explain it to you, so you always kind of have that personal touch. But talk about personal touch. We've got something even better
We
than
do.
emailing me. You can email him.
That's true. We have B Team 6. We
Yeah.
started that many years ago.
Yeah.
Because, you know, you need mentors to help you in beekeeping. So in the old days, most beekeepers would have a guy down the road that's experienced, that's done it a while. And that person would show, that's kind of how I got started. They'd show you how to get rolling. and
But
what
not
to do.
always.
Not always.
A
Well,
lot of people tell us that,
Well,
you know, some of them are
nowadays-
tight-lipped and they
Right.
won't tell you what to do.
nowadays it's that way. But way back in the old days,
They were more willing.
they were more willing.
Maybe to share.
But when we got into the 60s, the 70s, and then 80, 90, and now, mentors, look, I'll be honest. A lot of people will call me up and say, David, would you come over and look at my hives? I don't have that kind of time. I mean, I really don't. Some of them are hours away.
Yeah.
And it takes a long time to open up a hive
Yeah.
and come up with an assessment. Sometimes people, like Sherry said, will say, I have a mentor, but he's not showing up.
And sometimes they're not using science.
That's right.
A lot of times they're going on old wives' tales
Yeah.
or something they heard at a bee club,
Yeah.
and they're just throwing solutions at problems without quite understanding what those are.
And I want to say that there are some very good mentors out there.
Oh, yeah.
But if you're
Heck
a
yeah.
very good mentor, how many people can you mentor? Not many,
not a
right?
couple, yeah.
And so I started B Team 6 to help mentor people. And basically what it boils down to is once you sign up, then you have my cell phone number and my personal email account. And so, and sometimes I'm actually making videos and people will call me while I'm making a video and I'll stop the cameras and answer your question. But it's nice to have a certified master beekeeper on the other end of your telephone.
It is.
For less than a cup of coffee a day. I mean, it's, you know, I need to make a little bit money so that I don't have to go get a real job. So that I can sit around and wait for somebody to call me. But
that's right. And sometimes, you know, people are actually in their hives. You know, they have their suits on.
Absolutely.
And they get in their hives and they're like, oh, what the heck? Call David. Yeah. David, I'm in my hive and I'm going through this. And he's just right there going, okay, this is what you need to do. Then do this. So it's really cool.
I've done it for I don't know how many years, 3, 4, 5 years maybe?
It's been a long
time.
It's been a while.
And some have signed up, have been members from the very first day.
They have.
I would say a large number of them.
Oh, yeah.
And we try to keep it to around 200. So you'll see at times when it opens up again, and some of you are like, oh, there's an open spot in B Team 6. I want to get in there. So now might be the time to look into that.
Now's the time.
Because we do have people that in the winter, they'll save money. They'll back off and unsubscribe for the winter and then get back on in the spring. So you can jump
Beat them to it.
Beat them to it. You know? So anyway, that's B Team 6. I'd love to help mentor you.
Spring is coming.
Yeah, 52 days.
52 days.
52 days away.
Of course, in Illinois, that doesn't mean a thing.
It doesn't mean nothing. It's like, if it's 52 days away, you got to add 100 days to it.
Maybe.
It's like,
maybe.
Oh, the first day of spring is what, March 21st?
Yeah.
And it's going to be cold in March.
And we only have 2 seasons, really. It's just, you know, there's like 2 days of spring.
Oh, yeah.
And then it's summer, and then there's 2 days of fall, and that's winter.
That is so true for us. Why do we live in Illinois?
I don't know. Puerto Rico. We're going to go to Puerto Rico.
Man, we should go to Puerto Rico. I have some people that I know that live in Puerto Rico, and they love it. They've moved there for a lot of different reasons. Everybody's moving there, so the houses are very expensive, they say.
Oh, no.
I know.
We missed our chance.
We missed our chance.
But don't you miss your chance to get your packages in Nooks now.
Yeah, I made a mistake when I first started beekeeping. I thought I could call somebody up in April and order bees.
No.
That just doesn't happen.
Not anymore.
Not anymore.
Not anymore.
You got to order them now.
And, you know, ours are on sale.
They are.
Now. And it doesn't matter who you're buying them from.
No.
You got to do it now.
Look at this.
You know, because everybody runs out.
This is what they come in. A little package like this. It's cool, isn't it?
They do.
The bee bus.
So what's the difference between a package and a nuke for people who don't know?
A package is 10,000 bees in here with a separate queen cage, and a nucleus is usually 5 frames of bees. We sell those too. 5 frames of bees in its own, we call it a transport nook, and they can just pick.
Yeah, it's like a little mini nuke already.
It's
little mini hive.
A mini hive.
All ready to go.
It's a hive that's rolling. Yeah, absolutely. And which one would I prefer? 50-50. I love packages. I started with packages. I always install some of our own packages just to test them out. But I like a nuke too. I don't know. They're both fun. But I would say if you're a brand new beekeeper and you really kind of want to do it the old traditional way, it was really packages. Yeah, I think so. So that'd be a fun way to shake them in there and try.
Oh yeah, that's fun. I've done that. I've done it. You can do it.
Yep.
It's easy.
Somebody asked me, does Sherry work bees? They asked me, does Sherry work bees? And I'll just let you answer that.
I have.
Yeah.
I have done it for years.
You have.
It's not something that I do so much anymore, but yes, I've done it all. I've installed packages, I've fed them, I've, extracted the honey, and
I've seen you out there with your mom one time painting my
painting
beehives
hives
in the morning while the bees were flying.
While the bees were in there flying.
You didn't paint the front where they were flying, but you painted around the side. You guys did.
Yeah, well, I've done it all.
So
I've done it all.
You've had your share of bee stings?
I have had my share of bee stings. Yes, I have.
Okay,
yes,
good.
I have.
Yeah.
I'm qualified.
And you are knowledgeable. I'm really shocked. And is that because you've studied hard or just listened to me?
No, it's just I've listened to you all these years, and I just repeat what I've heard him say.
I just repeat what everybody's told me. It's just we're just one beggar telling the other beggar where the food is.
Well, that's not entirely
true.
You
can't invent anything new about bees. You study from other people and you learn it. That's what everybody
But you
does.
spend a lot of time experimenting.
I have.
And keeping very good track of who's doing what and who's not doing what and which traits you want in the queens.
And the outcomes.
Yeah, so, I mean, there's a lot of...
Yeah.
tracking to all of that information.
Exactly. And one of the things I want to do this year, but experimenting means if it fails, you lose your bees. But I want to go out there, that little hive that I have that's cooking along, that little bitty single deep.
Yeah.
I want to open the top, take the winter bee kind off, and I want to take a little teddy bear jar of honey and just pour a little bit right on top of the cluster. What would happen? Wouldn't they just eat that up?
Yeah, they just lick each other off.
Or would it have some adverse effect? Like, would it make them eat too much or get them too wet, too cold? But it seems like they're so little, I just want to give them a
You want to
bowl
give
of
them a
honey.
little something?
Yeah,
Like you feed the cat in the morning, a little bowl of milk?
I know they have the winter bee kind. I'll tell you the problem with that little.
It's okay. You don't have to treat them like that.
I know. I did think about moving them indoors just overnight when it was 20 below. But look, they're only eating right above the cluster, and they're not moving right now when it's cold.
Mm-hmm.
So the area above the cluster on the winter bee kind is
gone?
It's completely gone. Let me go get that. Stay right here. Like, look at this. This is it. This is the winter bee kind I took off of that little single deep.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And they've only eaten right above the cluster.
So this is just where the cluster was,
Yeah.
right here.
They were so small. So I felt like, oh no, unless I took this off for that reason and put another one on. And I'll tell you what I did. I cheated a little bit. I actually did take honey. I ran out there to get this. I took honey and I poured it on my winter bee kind right in the middle, and I kind of rubbed it, and then I put some pollen powder there.
Yeah.
Experimenting.
Yep.
Well, for coffee time, Sherry, I always like to talk a little bit about life, kind of encourage people, that might be needing a little encouragement. I'm pretty good at encouraging people, and so I like to kind of get in there and encourage people, and you're a good encourager too. So let's encourage people today.
Be encouraged.
By the way, this coffee mug here, I bought when I spoke at Utah. I spoke at the Utah Association of Beekeepers or something. I'm actually speaking in Maryland at their beekeeping association, state association.
Yeah.
In a couple of weeks, I'll be there.
Yeah, so if you're there, say hi.
Yeah, let me know if you're at the Maryland Bee Conference, if you're part of that group over there. The state conference, that's in February the 12th, I think. I'll be over there. So looking forward to that. I'm going to try to visit the bee lab too.
Oh, cool. Will you take your camera maybe and kind of do a little video and
Yeah.
show people what the Maryland Bee
I'm gonna
Lab
try it.
is?
It's going to be tight. My flight only arrives kind of late, and I don't know if they're there.
Okay.
COVID restrictions, I don't
Okay.
know, but we'll give it a
Yeah,
try.
that'd be
Let
fun.
people know. So many people have been saying, I want a coffee time. I want a coffee. Why aren't you going to do coffee time again?
Oh,
So we got to do
wow.
coffee time.
okay. All right. I'll do
We
a
have
coffee time with
coffee?
you.
All right. So
I'll do a coffee time with you.
yeah. And in my coffee time, I always like to tell people that to be motivated. And one of the things that I've been dealing with a lot lately, Sherry, I have found as I get a little bit older that it's harder for me to be motivated about certain things. One of the things I've done recently, Sherry, is I've actually put something into practice that's helped me a ton. And that is, there's a lot of times where I think, oh, I need to do this. Like one time the blades on our fan in our bedroom are kind of getting dirty. You know how dust collects. We live in an old farmhouse. And I don't know where dust comes from. The country, I guess. And it kind of bothered me. And I just bought this fan brand new. It's not an old fan. And so I kept saying, oh, I need to clean the fan blades. Then I kind of put this into practice that whatever I can do in 2 minutes, I do it when I think about it.
Okay.
When it comes to my mind, rather
Okay.
than put it off.
Okay.
That's really helped motivate me. And I've extended it to 5 minutes. If I can do something within 5 minutes, then I'll jump on it and I'll get it done. And I can get a lot more things done that way. It's quicker. But I think when you get a little bit older, we like to do things as we get older that are more enjoyable. We don't have to work as hard. And so sometimes, it's like, oh, you got to fix that leak, fix that window, fix the car. And it's like, that's going to be so laborious.
Oh my gosh. I can lose motivation so
I
fast.
know. And I think a lot of times with beekeeping, people can lose motivation.
Oh, yeah, they sure can.
I think one of the reasons most people lose motivation, either with bees or things in life, is because they don't see progress.
Oh.
Yeah. Their expectations aren't met.
Well, yeah. I mean, exactly. If you're trying to lose weight and
Oh,
the
it's
scale's
worst.
not moving,
Yeah. What are you going to do?
that's when I stop.
Oh, yeah, I know. Or maybe you're trying to get better at something like a sport activity, and you're just, some of your competitors are just leaving you in the dust,
Right.
and you're like, I can't do this.
Oh, that's especially because,
Yes.
because back to the money thing again, you're spending all that money. If you
And
don't
time.
see time and you don't see the progress, then
Yeah.
you're gonna lose your motivation.
So one of the things to do is you have to rethink what you view progress as. Like if you
Okay.
want to lose weight, and you have a goal of like, I don't know, 50 pounds in 6 months or something, which is a ton, but, and you're not keeping up to the progress that you think you should be doing, then why not set an easier goal to achieve first?
Oh, yeah. You
Like-
gotta
Yeah.
take that way down.
Like
No
maybe,
one's gonna do that.
Maybe rather than lose weight, I just want to start at least changing my exercise or diet so that
Okay.
I don't gain weight.
Okay,
And then work on losing 1 pound a month. I mean, start
Right,
small.
exactly,
You don't have to
exactly.
be so overwhelmingly like, I want to do this and I want it done right now. That will really be hard on you.
right, and that's exactly right,
You'll beat yourself up.
David and I are in part of a sports activity that I did when I first started it a year ago. I wanted to be good right now, and I didn't understand, why am I not good right now? And then 2 months later, I'm a little bit better,
You're a lot better.
but I'm still not, I'm still not, well, here I am a year later, and I'm a ton better, and I know a lot more, and I'm starting to inch up a
You
little
are.
bit.
Yeah.
I've still got a long way to go.
Yeah.
But I can see the progress in a year.
Oh, yeah. I'm a master, but it took me like 5 years of very hard training to get that level. And you haven't.
So I
but-
still got
yeah.
4 more to go.
Well, you're not training near as hard as I trained either.
No, but
Yeah.
that's the other thing too, training, you train,
I did.
you mastered it. Yeah, I'm not training so much, so I'm not gonna master it like you did.
But you're enjoying it. You don't always have to be what somebody else is. That's another
Right.
thing where if you're wanting to be as good as somebody else, it may cause you to not be motivated. Once
Right.
you realize that
Right.
they keep getting better, more better than what you're getting, you'll never catch them.
Right.
So you.
But that doesn't matter.
No, you need to be happy with where you're
I
at.
need to progress,
Yes.
not put my progress up against the next person.
Exactly.
I need to progress.
We should never put ourselves up against other people and let them be the determining factor of our success.
Right. And it
Never.
goes back to the last time we talked too. Some people are like, well, that my neighbor's got 2 hives, I've got to have 4. He's got 6, I got to have 8. No, you don't. You need to do what you want to do.
Absolutely. Set your goals where it's something that you can attain and you can enjoy doing and be motivated. But
Right.
I think just making yourself do it, even if it's a small goal.
Oh, yeah, you just got to go
know,
out and do it.
Like I said,
Even if you stink, you got to go out and do it.
yeah, when I was training to become a master, one of the things I did, Sherry, was I never let myself go less than 15 minutes a day training. I always did 15 minutes a day. 15
okay.
minutes doesn't take anything, right?
Okay.
I mean,
Well-
it's not that hard to do. But my other competitors, some of them were training hours a day. So,
But if my 15 minutes is today and it's raining, then I pack it away and I think I'm not going to do it today,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
you got to keep that motivation going to say, nope, tomorrow I'm back out there.
and I'll tell you
And I
what,
gotta do it.
this is hard for me too. Like with mites, I can really lose motivation to stay after mites.
Oh, yeah.
It's
Yeah.
because it's not fun. I like working bees. I love bees and I love playing with bees, experimenting. I don't like having to battle mites all the time.
Right, and I think some people think that mites they're, that's showing that I'm not a good beekeeper. And it's not. That's
No.
just one of those natural things that
Absolutely,
happens, and
yeah.
you've got to deal with it.
Yeah, that's
But
right.
you've got to actually know it.
Yeah.
You can't put your blinders on and pretend it doesn't exist.
Yep. And we have a lot, like with our health, it's easy to go to the doctor and just start taking medicine. Rather than try to get
Oh,
over your problem without medication. And with
Yeah.
mites, I think
Yeah.
if we worked
That is so
a
good.
little bit of, if we worked more of an enjoyment into our getting rid of mites,
yeah.
then we wouldn't just throw chemicals at them.
Right, exactly.
Because look, this mite is on a bee.
Mm-hmm.
And we try to use a chemical to kill this bug that's on another bug.
Bug. Yeah.
Does anybody see that
Yeah.
kind of is weird?
Yeah.
We're going to use a
So
harsh
that's a
chemical.
last-ditch effort, we think.
I mean, we have to do it, but yeah, it's not, it's
a last-ditch
weird, isn't
effort.
it, to do that. It's hard to kill a bug on a bug.
But you need to stay motivated and go out there and do everything you can before you have to
Yeah.
go to that.
Yeah, and if you can work it into a fun activity, like, oh, I'm gonna use some green drone cone to help trap my mites, and just focus on learning about green drone cone and watching them and evaluating it, then that might be what keeps mites down in your hive, something like that. Powdered sugar
Yeah.
dusting or I like breaking the queen's brood cycle.
You do.
I do.
You do.
I like catching her and putting her in her own cage there, because if she's in her own cage not laying any brood,
There's nothing for the
these
mites,
reproduce on the brood of the bees. So if you can take a week and cut the brood down just for 1 week, you eliminate
cut it
thousands
down.
of mites. So
Yeah, yeah.
be motivated to go after mites, and you'll have the return of success on bees for sure.
Well, sometimes motivation does leave.
It does.
And I think it's important to know that even when the motivation's not there, you've got to stay with it. You
Give me
still
an-
got to
give-
do it.
Give me an example.
Kids and their homework,
Oh.
for instance. I have
hated
no
homework.
motivation to help a child with their homework.
And when I was in school,
You know?
I had no motivation to do homework. I never brought
That's
homework
right.
home.
But you got to do it.
You do.
Sometimes it doesn't matter. So sometimes when the motivation goes away,
Yeah.
you say, I'm still got to keep working on this. I
Yeah.
still have to go. I have to keep doing it. I've still got to get groceries in the refrigerator. I still got to make sure that this relationship works.
We have
Even
a-
even
yeah.
when the motivation's not there, you still got to stick
We
with
have an
it.
easy relationship, though.
We do.
It doesn't really take a lot of
do.
motivation.
It-
It doesn't, yeah.
Thank
We're
you.
fortunate, yeah. Thank you. Sherry and I met when I was 16 years old,
Yeah,
and you were 14.
I was 14.
And I don't think her dad liked me. Have we talked about
He
this?
watches this.
Oh, no. Oh, wow.
I don't think any dad appreciates their only daughter's first boyfriend.
Boy, I didn't.
So
No,
I think that's
no.
just one of those things.
You have to have things in your life that will kind of spur you on to get your motivation back. And there's a lot of things that I do. Sometimes, like if I'm in a hobby and I'm losing motivation, I can sometimes buy something that makes that hobby a little bit more interesting.
Oh, a little funner?
Like
maybe?
ham radio, I'm into ham radio a lot. And so, if you bought a new radio, you might be like, oh, I bought a new radio, or I bought a better antenna, things like that, or I'm going to work on another certification, higher level
Oh,
of ham
yeah,
radio.
take a class. That'll
Yeah.
always motivate you again. You'll be like, oh, yeah,
Oh, yeah,
I got the
tell
mojo going now, and I'm going to get back out there, and I'm going to do some of these things that they talked about, in the class.
Yeah, I've taken classes, even when I didn't really feel like I needed to, and I kind of
yeah.
thought, I don't really need to.
Oh,
I know
yeah.
all of this, but I've done it just for motivation.
Oh, yeah, that's why I take the cooking and baking classes, and I've done that for
Exactly.
100 years now.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah, get your motivation back.
You should be a Michelin chef. Does that take a lot of work, or just be in the right place at the right time? Oh, yeah,
I don't know.
that'd be cool. Michelin chef.
I
You
just
have
want to
your
go
own
to those.
restaurant.
I just want to go to those restaurants. They've got the Michelin stars.
We almost did in Chicago.
That's
didn't
all
we?
I want to do.
And I looked at the price. Oh my gosh! To eat at a restaurant with a Michelin chef, I couldn't get me and you there for less than $500 or $600, and that's sitting outside on a picnic table. I mean, if we go inside, it was like thousands. It was like whoa.
We lacked the motivation after that point.
Oh, we
and he
did.
sent me to a class so I could just learn to cook better.
And we're trying to lose weight, so you're gonna eat all that. But I think when they bring you a Michelin chef plate, there's not a lot on it. There's
No,
just
there's not.
more design than anything else, and it's wrapped up in an exotic leaf from some forest
Oh,
that's
my
hard to
gosh.
find,
Oh, my
and it's like,
gosh.
you
Oh,
know.
my gosh.
Wow. We're going to be attacked by Michelin chefs in the comments below.
I think that.
I admire Michelin chefs. They were motivated to do that.
Oh, yeah.
To really learn and stay after
Oh,
it.
my gosh.
'Cause that's not
Oh,
an
my
easy-
gosh.
that's
For
not a-
years and years and years.
That is a tough place to be.
And
to
they're
be a
learning
chef.
different things and
Yeah.
getting different utensils and oh yeah.
And there's a lot of infighting and struggle in the kitchen, and work your way up. Gosh,
Got to have the right people around you too.
hats off to people that got motivated. to
Oh,
do
hats
that.
off to everybody who keeps on and
Yeah.
keeps on.
Okay, so I hope that helps you be motivated, whatever thing you're dealing with in life right now, that maybe you've backed off a little bit in achieving what you want to. Revisit your goals, and if you need to set them back a little bit so you can start making some progress, revisit that. Maybe that's something you want to pick back up again. Maybe there's something, a lot of people, Sherry, have been commenting that, hey, you motivated me through your videos to start keeping bees.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So if that's one of you, let's be motivated.
Well,
If you're still thinking about being a beekeeper, you're not sure, there's time this year to do it.
There is. There's still time.
So pull the
still
trigger and start beekeeping. It's
Yeah.
really fun. You've got time to get all your equipment and your bees ready for spring of 2022.
There you go. But once you get those bees, you got to make sure they don't abscond.
Oh, absconding. You know, I made a video last Sunday,
Oh, good.
and it was
Good.
about absconding.
I'll go watch it.
Oh, yeah.
For heaven's sakes.
You should watch it right here.
Oh, my gosh.
Do your pointing thing, Sherry. This is about how to get your bees not to abscond once you shake the package in. So watch this video.
Oh, yeah.
Or else you're
Your
going to be
money will fly away.
Yeah, and you'll be so sad. Take a look at this video. See you next time.